Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ariana. I'm basically new on YouTube, so don't blame me if this is a really bad voiceover. I'll do my best. But this month for February, I decided to do an Encanto theme. I saw the trailer a couple months before the movie came out in theaters. I've been obsessed with this movie ever since. So I was so excited to see that it became really popular. But because it was popular, it allowed me to make a theme this month. So here we have, I'm starting to do the titles for all of my spreads. So I decided to do the similar theme to the title of the movie. So basically we have the two colors. So there's the green and blue, and you mix them together. It was actually pretty easy. It's possible. I did it with a blending marker, one of the Tombow blending markers. So if you have that, you can make it too. It definitely doesn't have to be perfect. Mine didn't come out that way. I'm new to using the blending marker, to be honest, so I'm just happy it doesn't look terrible. But basically, so you mix the two colors and you can just use the blending marker. It kind of spreads the color around, so you just put the darker color and you spread it onto the lighter color. It's pretty easy. But for the titles, I used that font, obviously, but I also have these little orange and yellow dots that are in the title as well, and it looks pretty cute. But the most important part, I think, is the red outlining. I think it really makes these titles. So if you want to try it, I would definitely suggest it. It was a really great theme this month, so I'm super excited to show you guys. Okay, so for my cover page, I decided to go kind of simple. I went for the butterfly wall that you can find in the Madrigal's home, Casita. I don't know if you remember, but in some of the posters, like there's one where Luisa is standing in front of it with the piano, and there's the butterfly wall in the back. It's probably one of my favorite elements of Casita. It's just so pretty. So I decided that it would make a really good cover page. So I made it by making the outline of the butterflies into the page, and all I did was color around them, so there isn't any extra elements or any dark parts that really distinguishes them. But by making the outline first, it did help for the colors to be able to tell that there's a difference between each of the blocks. But I did think this turned out really great. I do use Tombow markers for basically all of the coloring in the spreads. There is some Crayola Super tips, and I will link everything that I used in the description. Okay, so to finish that page off, all I had to do was add the title that I created earlier onto the page, and it looks great. My next spread is my daily highlight spread, which is basically the equivalent of a one line a day spread, but I like to keep it positive. So basically, I think of the one great thing that happened that day. Even if I just had a day where I didn't really do much, I can write down, oh, I had a chill day. But it's still one way to make sure you think of the day positively. Okay, so for this theme, I stuck with Isabella. So I was trying to make sure that she was represented in this page because let's be honest, we all really like flowers in our bullet journals. It just happens. So at the top here, I have all the flowers that she grows, like the roses. I kept it pretty simple. It was basically just the shapes of the flowers and not detailed descriptions of them. But at the top, I have the flowers that she grew before, and spoiler alert, the bottom has all of the flowers that she grows after her song with Mehmet. You have to admit the songs are really good in the movie. I can't get them out of my head. They're so good. My family is a little bit annoyed with how often they get stuck in my head, but that's not my fault. They're too good. Okay, so I have just a couple of the little flowers at the bottom here, and the spread turned out pretty good, so let's see how it goes. And there you have it. The spread is almost finished. I just have to add the title, add a little bit more detail, and there we go. This next spread is my calendar spread. I also put the habit tracker on this page as well this time, but I kept this spread pretty simple. So basically, the theme of the spread wasn't a character necessarily, but more so the colors. So I used the same blue, green, orange, and yellow from the titles that I created earlier. And I think it turned out pretty good, but I did also add a little bit of butterflies. So there's just a couple of butterflies from the movie. I did add a quote at the bottom of the page from the song All of You. So the quote says, "The miracle is you, not some gift, just you." I thought that was really pretty, so I did want to include a couple of the quotes from the movie in my spread this month. So I used the same blending technique that I used for the titles for the spreads, but I used the orange and yellow instead because I thought it would provide a little bit of contrast so it wasn't exactly the same colors throughout the entire bullet journal. But I do think the spread turned out pretty cute. So it works out, typically I like to have a one-paged calendar just because I don't use it that often, but I thought I'd give it a try, so we'll see how it goes. This next spread is my water tracker. Typically, I like to have somewhere where I can just write in how many cups of water I had that day, but I thought I'd be a little bit creative this time. So I decided to go with a broken prophecy idea for this spread. So basically, I have little shards of the prophecy, and each of them is designated for a specific amount of water that I had that day. So the first one is like 8 cups, and the last one is 4, because typically I have between 8 and 4 cups a day. So I thought that this would work really great. This spread is probably the one I dislike the most. It just didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to. Like, it'll still work, I'm not worried about it, but it wasn't perfect. So this spread was my monthly budget spread. So typically I have just a small area where I write in my income and a small area where I can write in all of my expenses. I don't have all that many expenses. It's mostly just stuff that I buy extra. Like, I don't really put bills on here, but it's just extra things that I like to buy throughout the month. So for this spread, I decided to go with a Peppa theme. I really liked Peppa in the movie. She was very cute. And at first, I was going to make a water tracker based on her instead. So I was going to have like a little cloud that designated for 8 cups of water or a sun, or it was going to be something like that, but it didn't exactly work out. So that's how I landed on the prophecy theme instead. But I still wanted to include Peppa, so I decided to do it for this spread instead. It's not perfect. It's a little bit simpler than I imagined it was going to turn out, but it'll work. This last spread is my last dedication to Bruno. As much as I love the other characters like Antonio, Isabella, Luisa, everyone is super great. But Bruno, I don't know, there's something about Bruno that's just really funny. He loves his family, but he's super quirky and weird. I love that he thinks his real gift is acting. I don't know, there's something about Bruno that we just have to talk about. That may or may not have been a pun. Yes, sometimes I do think I'm funny. But so here I decided to do the rock that you find in Bruno's tower. So basically, when Mirabelle enters Bruno's room, she finds all these stairs, right? And there's a stone that says your future awaits. So I thought that your future awaits would be the perfect thing to put in my weekly spread this month. It's not too difficult to do. I think anyone could probably make this, and it turned out pretty cute, so I'm very happy about it. because the colors in this spread were kind of different because they're mostly brown and everything, I decided that to highlight each day of the week, I would put the same colors as the title, so it kind of brings in the colors from all the other spreads. And there you have it, my Encanto bullet journal theme. I do think it turned out pretty good. I do like everything about the colors. There are some spreads I was a little iffy about, but hopefully it works. Thanks for following along with me. I really would love to hear what your February bullet journal themes are in the comments. Okay, so until next time.